Hello, today we're going to be having a dinner in, and we can show you how to save a little bit of money. You don't have to just eat, cheap dinners or whatever. You can eat something that's a little more extravagant when you cook everything at home. And so tonight we're going to have clams, and we're going to steam the clams, and this is like an Italian style clam dish that we're going to have. So this is the ingredients that you need. We have fresh lime. Normally we have cracked pepper, but we're out of cracked pepper, so we're going to use the black pepper. That's fine. Salt. We're going to use this fine Wegmans white cooking wine, and also this olive oil. We have some chopped garlic. You can see we probably have about 2 tablespoons of this, and I like to have my garlic somewhat coarse because that gives it a really nice flavor, because you're going to want to enjoy this broth that it makes. You can dip bread into it even after you're done eating the clams. It is just delicious. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to prepare our broth. So what I like to do is get 2 cups of water, and of course we're going to use filtered water. One. Two. We're going to take the cooking wine, and I usually like to use about a half cup of this. It gives it a nice flavor. You can use more or less, whatever you think, but to me, this is what really helps, this and the garlic. So I'm going to use about a half a cup of that. And then we're going to take our garlic. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and turn the burner on. And we can turn this up pretty high. And then once it starts cooking, we can lower it. So we have our garlic. Again, 2 tablespoons. Fresh garlic is the best. We're going to pour that in there. We're going to take some olive oil. And usually about 2 tablespoons of olive oil will suffice. So this is the way I measure. 1, 2. And you can see in the pot, that looks like about 2 tablespoons. Okay? We're going to take a little bit of salt. Now, clams are naturally salty, so you don't want to overdo the salt. So what I like to do is just do a light sprinkling of salt. We're going to take a dash of pepper. And we're not going to put the lime in until afterwards. Okay, so we're going to let this cook and bring this to a boil. And while we're doing that, we're going to rinse our clams. And so we have these good clams. These are little neck clams from Wegmans, and they're really, really good. You can see they're smaller. We prefer the small clams because they're very tender. And we're going to wash these really good. So, oops, sorry for the noise. Put them in a pot. It's important to wash them because there's some sand and different things that you could find inside these clams due to their natural habitat. What we do is we rinse the top of the clam, probably stir it around with our hand a little bit. Okay, and so we're going to take a lid, and we're going to drain these. And then we're going to wait for our liquid solution to come to a boil. And I usually like to let that boil for maybe 10 minutes. And once that is boiling, we'll reduce it. We'll put the clams inside there. So we'll take a break. Okay, so our broth has been cooking, and it looks really good and smells really good. We're going to go ahead and reduce the heat for now. And you can see that it's steaming really good. Okay, we got our clams that we had previously washed right here. They look wonderful. And we're going to add those. You got to use your hands. We're going to add those to our boiling broth. When I get it down low enough, I can. We're going to give a little bit of a stir. Get all the juice mixed with the clams. Okay. And then we're going to let that boil. We'll bring that to a boil and then I'll cover it. It shouldn't take long. Turn that back up to high. You want to cook them on high because they cook very quickly. All right, so we're going to cover. And we're going to let that cook. And the way that you check them is you take the lid off, and as soon as the clams start to pop open, that's when it's time to take them out. You don't want to overcook a clam because it tastes terrible. But, you know, usually it takes about 10 minutes, you know, to cook them. And you want to make sure all the clams are open. Some of them take a little longer than the others. But we'll come back after they've cooked for 10 minutes, and we'll see what they look like. Oh, my, look at them. You can see the clams have opened up. They look wonderful. Clams are naturally sweet. They just have such a great flavor, especially these little neck clams. You'll want to use the broth. You don't want to drain it. You want to serve the clams with the broth because it goes great with bread for dipping. And what I like to do is I take a little bit of lime and I just squeeze a little bit of lime on top. Probably 2 of these would suffice, and that gives it a nice finish. And then we remove it from the heat, and there we go.